priceless. Never, ever happened.
My Aunt Bunny got a mustache and shit. You know, one of them lady mustaches? It was real cool back when she was 20. She had, you know, ladies had them little thin ones and shit. Then when they get about 45, like Aunt Bunny, they be having the Billy D. Williams look. Shit be thicker than a man's and shit. Aunt Bunny weighed like 300 pounds, like 250, real heavy lady and shit. And the kids was scared of her. You got that kid logic going. I remember my Aunt Bunny come by the house and shit. It was like, I was petrified because she always wanted to kiss me or touch me and some shit. As soon as she walk in the door, it's like, come give your Aunt Bunny a kiss, baby. And you go, your mother say, why don't you want to kiss your Aunt Bunny? Kids don't give a fuck. They go, she got a mustache. Why do kids move so slow when they be crying? We go, stop making all that noise. I said shut up. You be mad because your mother hit you, be standing there wishing hateful shit on your mother. Ever do that? Be in the bedroom going, God, please kill her.
What was great about Delirious is it really, that's when you knew how big a star Eddie was. No stand-up comedian had ever had that kind of energy and hype. I mean, he was the Beatles. He was the Beatles, and when you look at the intro of Delirious and how he comes in, and I mean, the crowd just goes ballistic when he goes on stage. It was like, no one had ever created that kind of energy, and a lot of it had to do with his youth and his arrogance and his swagger and the red leather suit.
It was another period in comedy history where somebody rattled the cage and shook it up. Eddie kind of built this road and created this blueprint that a lot of people began to follow. It created just this rejuvenation of comedy.
We are truly blessed to have somebody, you know, of Eddie's caliber, his talent. You know, we're blessed, and I'm honored to know him.
Eddie did it his way. He broke a lot of rules. You know, we were used to rules, comedy rules, and one was you can't wear red leather.
I think Eddie Murphy set off a new generation of black comedians.
Everything he talked about, it was like, man, that's what we was thinking. And he's like the voice for, you know, black people.
He had a cool ass laugh too. I would like them to go, ah, 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 ah. It's just so ridiculous.
It must have been an amazing night to be there in person, but for the rest of us, we can still enjoy the genius of Eddie Murphy's Delirious for years to come.
Mick Jagger's lips so big, black people be going, you got some big ass lips.
Delirious is a moment in time, and it's a really unique piece. It's very funny. If you watch it, you'll see where a bunch of shit you see that came out in the 90s and a lot of stuff you see now. Delirious is one of the most imitated performances. You see a lot of stuff that comedians just shamelessly just go and twist it a little bit and take it a little stuff. And I guess it's flattering, you know, that they'll go and do that. But you see a lot of the stuff that you think is funny, you see where a lot of it came from.
Somebody broke wind in here. I've been trying to like not say nothing, but somebody farted in this motherfucker. That's some long distance fart too, boy. We was poor, we didn't have no Mr. Bubble, we played the fart game. We be in that tub that bloop. Ever hold your G.I. Joe over it, guys? We're going din 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 din, and G.I. Joe is swimming underwater. Dun 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 dun. And G.I. Joe want to find out where the bubbles is coming from. It's on the bottom of the ocean, so he started to venture into the cave from whence they came. And G.I. Joe got stuck, in the water. And my big brother was sitting in the other end of the tub and shit, and made shit in the tub. He wanted to add some excitement to the game and shit, because I was going, G.I. Joe then. He said, and then a big brown shark came. I jumped up and said, ah! Cut my eye in a soap dish and blood was gushing out my face and shit. Screaming, mother ran in the bathroom. See my big brother sitting in the bathroom with a piece of shit in his hand in the tub. I was laying in the bottom of the water with blood gushing out my eye. And G.I. Joe up my ass.
Delirious was certainly a groundbreaking event for the audience, but it also had a major influence on aspiring comedians.
I basically did everything in terms of mimicking Eddie, except the red leather suit. I could wear red leather suit, but I was in the mirror like, my Eddie Murphy, Delirious, y'all jokes are funny. And I was working on it, so Eddie was a huge impact.
Eddie Murphy was more the comic of, my era, like growing up and saying, I identify with this guy. If he can do it, I can do it. And Delirious was, that was rock star comedy. You didn't really see comics in a rock star status.
Delirious is so full of wonderful personal stories and hilarious comedy routines that it's tough for Eddie to choose his favorites.
My favorite routine. I think the classic bits, like ice cream bit stands out, the ice cream man.
Remember when the ice cream man used to come to town when you was little? And no matter what you was doing, you would stop and lose your fucking mind?
Because that's one that everybody can relate to. It's like no matter where you come from, if you grew up in America,
Yeah.
you heard the ice cream man and you know what that routine is.
There's something about the ice cream truck that make kids lose it. And they can hear that shit from 10 blocks away. They don't hear their mother calling them, but they hear that motherfucking ice cream truck.
I have some ice cream.
The ice cream be running all down your arm and shit. Yeah.
Ice cream.
This guy kind of became the comic for a new generation. All of a sudden, Eddie comes along and he gives us his take on his childhood and his life, and all of a sudden, you have new rhythms in your head. Ice cream, and it was on.
You didn't get nah, you didn't get nah, you didn't get nah, 'cause you are on the welfare and you can't afford it. You can't afford
Eddie is definitely somebody who has always made me laugh. I think Eddie and Richard Pryor are probably the only two people that people can recite because they've seen it and heard it so many times that they can actually recite it. And because the bits were that signature, like nobody could copy them.
There'll never be another Delirious. Eddie Murphy's gift is that he can make everything relatable and hilarious at the same time. It is indeed the holy grail of comedy.
You cannot have some, you can't. You dropped your ice cream.
Now, do you miss doing stand-up?
Sometimes I get the little thing like, and then I'll go down to the clubs and I'll see what's going on, and I'll be like, yeah, I gotta do it again. Then it depends on when you catch me. One day I'm doing it again, and sometimes I never want to go touch it again.
Why?
Because there's something cool about where I left it. There's something cool about, I stopped doing stand-up when I was 26, 27 and didn't do it anymore. It's like at the height of it.
Nope, making these movies. Do stand-up. Nope, I'm Dr. Doolittle. Do stand-up. Nope, talking to this dog.
I'm talking to this dog.
Talking to this dog over here. I gotta go now. Y'all take it easy. Bye-bye.
This has been a production of EntertainmentStudios.com.